Dear students, welcome to the online classes program of Higher Education Department, Punjab. It is Department of English Language and Literature of Government Postgraduate College, Attic. Here, I am Sharif Zahid, Assistant Professor of English.
Well, gentlemen, as you know that we are studying modern English essays and we have started our second essay, The Eclipse. Before switching over to the text, we have taken an introduction of the writer that was in brief, and of course it was an introduction of the event as well, and that too was in brief. So let us switch over to the textual study today, and it is better that you should consult the difficult words given at the end and their meanings also. For example, the first very word is orientated. The meaning he has given brought to a clearly understood position. The second one is disembodied, means separated or free from the body, and so on. So let us start our text. We shall complete it in three phases. The first phase is feelings of the people prior to that incident, then their preparations for reaching at the destination to watch that interesting event, and after watching when they were coming back, so what result they obtained from that event. So let us start. It's a very emotional start of the writer that never was there a stranger purpose than that which brought us together that June night in Euston railway station. It means all of them assembled over there for a singular purpose. And the writer enjoyed that gathering because that was not a compulsion one, rather it was willing. So we were come to see the dawn. The next morning they had to watch the rising of the sun at the dawn time. Trains like our trains were starting all over England at that very moment to see the dawn. From every nook and corner of England, all the trains were diverted towards that station, and all noses were pointing north. What a nice expression that everybody was heading towards north. When for a moment we halted in the depths of the country, means they made a short pause. They stopped over there for a while. So she is of the opinion that when we stopped for a while, what did we see? There were the pale yellow lights of motor cars also pointing north. Means there were many other motor cars along railways. They were also heading towards the same direction, and that is north. There was no sleep, no fixity in England that night. On that night, nobody bothered about enjoying a sound sleep, rather, all were awake, all were busy, all were heading. And she writes that all were on the roads, all were traveling north, all were thinking of the dawn. So, whether through railways or roads, everybody was heading towards the direction of north. And what was there in their mind? They kept in their mind the time of the sun rising. As the night wore on, when night spread, it started. When, as the night wore on, the sky, which was the object of so many million thoughts, assumed greater substance and prominence than usual. She wishes to say over here that it is the same very sky and it is a usual night time, but tonight we were more concerned about night as well as about sky. The consciousness of whitish soft canopy above us increased in weight as the hours passed. With the passage of time, means as the time passed, so we were obsessed with certain thought, and that thought was pressing on us. What is that? Soft canopy is twinkling of the stars. The stars were shining on our heads, and we were thinking when the chill early morning we were turned out on a Yorkshire roadside. So we turned, and the time of the morning was cold enough, rather pleasant cold was there. Our senses had orientated themselves differently from usual. On that morning, what we were feeling, so that feeling was not a usual one, it was something unusual. We were no longer in the same relation to people, houses, and trees. On that morning, everybody was keeping in his or her mind to reach in time over there. We were related to the whole world because we have lost our personal relations, our communal relations. Rather, we were engaged in a relationship of the whole world. We had come not to lodge in the bedroom of an inn. So we were not going over there to pass a night in a hotel. Rather, we were come for a few hours of disembodied intercourse with the sky. It means we have lost our contact individually. Nobody was bothering about one another. Rather, all of us were thinking about the sky, that what will happen. So, this is something preparatory before that incident. Now, these are the feelings. Now, the feelings of the people start. Everything was a very pale. It means we were not in a comfortable mood. Rather, we were upset. The river was pale, and the fields brimming with grasses and tasseled flowers. Means, although the fields were full of grass, full of flowers, which should have been red, had no color in them. Of course, every natural growth has its own attraction and color, but on that morning, the people did not bother about greenery or about various colors of flowers, but lay there whispering and waving round colorless farmhouses. Rather, there was an air blowing, and there was the hissing sound of the grass only and nothing else. Means no attraction was there in the nature. Now the farmhouse door would open, and out would step to join the procession the farmer and his family in their Sunday clothes. The writer is expecting that whosoever was there, whether they were farmers, whether they were traders, whether they were city dwellers, or they belonged to the villages, everybody forgot about his or her profession. And on that morning, she was expecting that we'll see so many farmers, they may join us, they will leave about their professional duties, because, like that of a Sunday, clothes neat, dark, and silent as if they were going uphill to church. So everybody was preparing himself or herself in a way as they are going to join some service or worship. Or sometimes women merely leant on the window sills of the upper rooms watching the procession pass with amused contempt. Or if there were any city dwellers who were residing at the upper store. So they were also surprised, and they were leaning forward to to have a look at the people who were moving in the form of a flock. They were gathering. There was a type of crowd of the people that was moving towards north. It appeared they have come such hundreds of miles, and for what? Means it is the thinking of the lookers on, according to the point of view of the writer, that the lookers on may be thinking in their mind that somebody is coming far from, but for what purpose? So they seem to say in complete silence. It is the technique of stream of consciousness in which the writer conveys us certain messages that perhaps they may be thinking this or that, whether they are thinking or not, but Virginia Woolf made us believe that they were thinking. So we had an odd sense of keeping an appointment with an actor of such vast proportions that would come silently and be everywhere. So, in a way, we were heading, and it was in our mind that we should not be left behind. It appeared that they have such hundreds of the miles they have completed. What the purpose of their reaching over there was that they wanted to fulfill an appointment of meeting may be there may be something which they might have promised. So it seems to be a sign of good character to meet that appointment or to reach in time. So this type of sensation made her satisfied that people are flocking to fulfill their commitment over there, and soon everybody will reach at the promised place. So, this brief introduction of this lesson is about preparation before the event takes place. I think you may also join Virginia Woolf in her sensation. Kindly do revise this lesson so that you may be able to pick it up in a better way. Thanks for happy watching. Stay blessed.